Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Jerick Show, the only show you need to watch on your weekly basis to get your dose of cybersecurity news, views, and facts.
Welcome to the Jerick Show, featuring your hosts, Javvad Malik and Erich Krohn. Timely topics, poorly presented.
Yes. We are back. I, as always, am Javvad Malik. And thankfully, after several weeks off, with one excuse after the other, Erich Krohn had decided to come back. So welcome back, Erich, to my show.
Yeah, to your show. Yeah, I think my name's in the title more than yours, man. For those listeners that don't know, Jerick is Javvad and Erich show. We're super clever like that. You like the way we put that together?
Yes. See, we named this before ChatGPT became a thing. Otherwise, I'm sure we would have had far better names.
Yep. It has been too long, though, my friend. We've been, man, this has been a hell of a year so far. I'm not loving 2024 so far, but hopefully we're done with all the stuff going on. So we'll see.
I hope so too, but it's nice to have you back.
Oh, you said that and it's recorded. I may have to grab that little snippet and throw it in there. So when you do the Raining Men one, I can throw that in.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Anyway.
All right.
Today's the day that I also tell you that I hate you less than I hate most other people, Erich. So
wow, that's incredible from a curmudgeon like you.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's talk stories here.
So calls to instant response helpline double in a year.
Okay. I got to tell you why I chose this story.
Go on.
First of all, it's kind of interesting that there was that much like IR boost. And now this was in Scotland. Okay. But what it did is it drove me trying to imagine a Scottish helpline with the accents. Do you remember? I think we were in London and somebody asked directions from you, and I was like, "What did they say?" And you were like, "Well, I think he was asking for this." We had no idea what the hell he was saying. And if you ever watch any of those like Scottish, the guy with the trying to do the GPS was fantastic. I'm just picturing people calling this helpline and going, "I got no idea what they told me to do." Unless you're Scottish yourself.
Dear. I mean, like you say double and you think like these are thousands of calls, but actually the calls grew from 123 last year to 263. So
I mean, the Scotland's not a big place, and I don't know that it's necessarily known for its technology. That could be a decent size of organizations.
What do you think about Scotland? I mean, okay, it's a huge place. It's just not as densely populated as other places.
Right.
So it's a bit like the Canada to the UK. It's picturesque, it's beautiful, with less bears, might I add.
and always wanting to leave you guys. They were like the original Brexiters. I was there like 10 years ago, and they were trying to vote to leave the UK.
I know. And they narrowly missed that. And James Cameron. Anyway, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Okay. We can move on to something real now.
But, everything's still connected up there, isn't it? And so, if you're connected, you're a potential target. First you roasted the Scots, and now I'll let you roast Microsoft.
Oh, man. I put this one up there because I'm now, in all fairness, I'm still trying to read up on this, right? Like I said, it's been a little crazy, but man, I keep hearing some really, really bad things about this report and the criticism they gave Microsoft for their security. Basically, in this case, they lost control of some certificates that pretty much allowed bad actors to get into any of the Exchange Online accounts that they wanted to do. And, that's bad. But what I'm seeing is they're just beating them up on why this happened. It was like, apparently the controls were poor. They're saying that the company culture was poor, etc., etc., which is interesting. Now, years ago, I worked for Microsoft as phone support back in 1995. I was frontline support for Windows 95, believe it or not. And at the time, though, that I really loved the Microsoft culture. It was a good culture. They were very security um, conscious. A lot of that was going on, and I really like that. It's unfortunate to see, if it's true what they're saying here, how badly it is that this has happened. And thinking about all of the Windows installations that are out there and how many people rely on Microsoft products, for them, if they really do have such a poor security standing, that's a little scary, man.
It is. It is. And it's a strange one because it's one big issue that's happened, and is it really truly reflective of their entire culture?
Right.
I don't know. It might be a bit on the harsh side, but the cryptographic key wasn't rotated for 7 years.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's right. It was a key, not necessarily a certificate. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and further on, they do say that they stopped manually rotating keys. Ah,
In
it was
2021. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
following a major cloud
But
outage. It
but
broke.
it was already 5 years old on this key.
I
It's
know, I know. So
oh
my guess, if I was a guessing person, like in large organizations, there's probably like one or two people that supported this key rotation process for this particular system or for a few years, and they left or were fired or moved on or what have you, and no one really picked up the mantle to do it. And then, like 6, 7 years later, it all goes kaput. And
or
there's no,
maybe they were fired after the outage that it
yeah,
caused
yeah.
that. I mean, who knows? Yeah.
Don't know. You don't
You're
know.
right.
But I know there's a lot of people. I know Microsoft are trying to defend their case, and a lot of people are defending Microsoft that state nation attackers and all this, that, the other. But Microsoft is bigger than a lot of nation states, and they have more cybersecurity capabilities. So I'm not trying to dump on Microsoft, but I think you know the report needs to be read in detail, and I think
Yeah.
you know it's not. I don't think it's a Microsoft has no culture and they don't care, and neither do I think that they're completely blameless. But I think somewhere in the middle.
So let me throw this out there for those throwing stones, potentially in a glass house. When was the last time you changed the passwords on your service accounts? Right.
Well, no,
Probably 2016
we
or
put everything in the cloud, in Microsoft Cloud. So
exactly.
now it's all secure.
No, I mean it's like there are certain things out there that honestly just don't happen. I mean, service account passwords are something that people don't love to change because it always, always, always seems to break crap
Yeah,
until you've done it a few times and you figure out how to do it right. So everyone's, a lot of people are real touchy about that
I know.
on local service accounts and stuff. It's just kind of funny. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can run around and skewer people over when our house may not be in order. I know
Oh,
in
man.
many cases mine was not in stuff like that. One or two people, you touch it, it's going to cause an outage, and the boss
Yeah.
hates that kind of stuff. So you just kind of go, yeah. So I do understand how this might have happened, but anyways,
I remember, like, I was one of my first jobs. There's a massive NT4 estate, and there's this service account that kind of everyone ended up knowing the password for because it was used so often. But because it was, then people started using it as the sort of like the quick fix. This isn't working. Okay, let's run it under
yeah,
this
yeah.
service
Let's
account,
run
and
this.
it'll
Yeah,
start
this high
working.
level account. It'll just work.
And so everyone pretty much knew the password, but no one could do anything about it because so many things were dependent on that one account.
Yep.
That
Yep.
and wow, it,
That's
it
kind of what I'm
happened.
saying, man. I mean, it just it can get out of control like that sometimes. So before we start throwing too many rocks in this house, let's think about it a little bit. So
So.
Yeah.
YouTube is now distributing malware.
I thought this was kind of interesting, just a little bit of an angle, something to think about here. What they're doing is they're throwing up YouTube videos with like game cracks and stuff, links to things like that
Yeah.
in the description. And I know like my kids watch a lot of YouTube when it comes to playing their games and YouTubers and stuff like this. Like it's a big thing. You hop on YouTube. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I've jumped on YouTube for like Minecraft stuff because Minecraft is a mindless game that I like to play when I have nothing else going on in my head. But you're like, hey, how does this work? And you'll jump onto YouTube and see it. Now imagine if you have down there like, hey, and you can get this for free through this or whatever. It's malware. And so they're using that cleverly to distribute malware to people. And I thought that was just an interesting idea on how this works, especially with the generation that does so much YouTubing. A lot of us don't realize how big a deal it is in some of these younger generations.
In some of it, but also like I think the malware cannot be worse than the tons of unskippable ads that YouTube presents to you before you.
Oh man, it's getting so bad these days, man. Like it's like Amazon Prime. I'm going to throw a rock here right now. Amazon Prime. I pay for Prime. We have Prime, and now I got to watch commercials. It's like a minute and a half of commercials in the middle of these. It's driving me crazy, man. Driving me crazy.
This is it's like drug dealers when the first hit is free. It's like they got everyone used to free, like streaming with ad free, and now it's like let's bring it back. Now that
if you want to pay more though, you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Lord have mercy. Okay, yeah. Oh, this one, LockBit. Yes, I always love hearing about people having trouble. And LockBit, damn you guys. They have been so they've been so prolific, and they have damaged so many organizations. So law enforcement came in, knocked some stuff down, took down their infrastructure. And it looks like they've brought up some stuff like leak sites and stuff showing how cool they are. But they're using either fake or very old breach stuff to make it look like they're actually still doing stuff. They're kind of on a PR campaign here a little bit, I think, if you will. But I think it's kind of interesting what's happening here. They're almost desperately trying to show that they're still relevant. And I'm not going to say that they aren't relevant, but from their heyday, this really put a hit on them. This really seems to have impacted them pretty badly.
Yep. And like you say, it's more of a PR exercise now, which is fascinating to see. It's
we talk about how they run these things like businesses.
Yeah.
And they really and truly do. They take all of this kind of stuff very seriously. This isn't a bunch of fools that are just running around hacking into people's crap. I mean, these are very smart, intelligent, business-minded people in groups like this. And that's something I think a lot of people misunderstand or don't give them credit for.
That's right. I think it's easy to say, oh, they run like businesses, but because it's like behind the scenes, people just like, don't get it. But anyway, last story that you hadn't heard of.
Oh, yeah.
So, Amazon had their walkout shops where you just walk in, you pick up stuff, and it's all AI.
That always felt weird, man. Cameras every 6 inches on the ceiling. And
so although it seemed completely automated, let's zoom in a bit. Just Walk Out relied on more than 1,000 people in India watching and labeling videos to ensure accurate checkouts. There's literally like a person inside the tin can that you ask questions to, and it spits out the answer.
Man, that's funny. I didn't know that was happening.
The cashiers were simply moved off-site, and they watched as you shopped. So,
wow,
isn't that brilliant? It's like we were duped.
I did not know that, man. I thought it was AI recognition. I thought they were doing smart stuff like tying together, things coming off and the cameras every couple inches and just kind of keeping track of it that way. I mean, anymore, like here at the convenience stores, some of the convenience stores have the the self-checkout, and I walk up and put my soda on there and a candy bar or whatever, and it figures out what's there based on all the labels and stuff, and boom, it's actually remarkably accurate. So I assumed it was something like that. But we also have Walmart, right? You've been here and seen Walmart, and Walmart just gets so much heat over their self-checkout stuff. And I saw something earlier today, a story about how they're able to look in and read like credit card numbers off of wallets and stuff like that to track people, like if they're doing some stupid stuff and trying to steal and things like that. Like, just the level of monitoring that's being done at those little kiosks. And I've had it happen to me before where it popped up and said, "Oh, there's an issue." And it sits there and plays back me scanning the thing, but they got to come over and look at it. And then they hit you on the way out for your receipt. I'm like, man, so the technology, I don't think, is still there. And
It's kind of there. You know what? This casts doubt into everything. I mean, I think that in a few months we're going to find out that ChatGPT is actually like 10,000 Indians somewhere in Bangalore. It's like, they got access to Getty Images subscription that they share between them, and Adobe Suite, and that's it. That's everything you need coming at you.
Oh, that would be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So when we talk about AI hallucinations, it's literally Mr. Patel who's on his 36-hour shift trying so hard to generate you answers quickly.
Oh man. All right. Well, that was fun. I know we're a little short on time today, but
yes, we are. So with that, we'll end the show. Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Love you loads, and we'll hopefully see you next week.